All right, here we are. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Yeah, take it away, friends.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Tukil. You might have just seen me play through the first part of the game, and now I'm here commentating the second part. We're basically playing the same thing that I just played. We're playing Blackout Discovery Bingo with random spawn. And yeah, both our runners are ready, so I will get them the get-go. And yeah, as we're getting into it, I will start explaining. And right off the bat, I can tell you, since we're playing random spawn, there's going to be a lot to talk about because, yeah, this is randomizer, and if we start at a random teleporter, then we are, in fact, going to, well, have to get skills to get around. And we're starting in the woods, which is, well, somewhat late game area, and we are also starting with a very powerful skill combination, Sword and Sentry, which allowed us to do these sentry jumps that you can see both of them doing all over the place. Yeah, just kind of getting everything, and Bash immediately after. Wow, amazing. Not sure what's happening on Zri's end, but Bash is another very powerful skill. We didn't get to see it in the first game, but in the second game it functions the same way. We take an enemy, we take ourselves, we throw the enemy in one direction, ourselves in the others, and we can go around however we like. And clean water as well. Very powerful, very helpful thing to get us around the map. It opens up the left end here. And maybe talking about the bingo board, similar to the first game, we will not be able to see all the goals at the start, but we have two visible to us. We have E4 with a Spirit Trail that we need to activate, as well as C2 with some updrafts, both of which are really interesting because Windswept Waste Trail is kind of hard to, well, they can get to if they want to, but they need a bunch of keystones for that, which we are missing. And updrafts is one of these things that absolutely require one of the skill in the game, which is called flap, and which we have a hint for, but that one is also kind of hard to get. It's at the end of a very big dungeon, and it is kind of slow to do it. Dancing Quolok on the side of appletree here on the right. If you're underwater while Quolok hasn't loaded yet, he kind of gets bugged out, so don't worry about it. In the meantime, yeah, Zuri kind of having to catch up, but we will not get to those goals for a long time. I do believe they are also playing with a variant where you kind of have to where you get to see some more cards. You don't rely on the cards that you see in the beginning, but you also get to see the two cards that you complete first. So basically, you complete the first two cards, you see them, you see all their surrounding tiles, so you have a better idea, because Will of the Wisps does not have the any designated starting goals. So right now we're just moving around the map, picking up pickups. Similar to before, they are shuffled in their place, and depending on what the game says you actually get instead of what the game shows. So for example, the Spirit Light on Apple's side was a Gorlek ore, and yeah, we will have to wait and see. So now major difference for now in the state of the race is that Zri actually got an extra pickup in Silent Woods, which was double jump. And double jump is extremely powerful in this game. And Apple kind of went out of there before getting the chance to get this pickup. So we will have to wait and see what the next few skills they find are, if there are any that are super powerful, and yeah, just figure out what we do from here. We have a bunch of things in logic to us, so we have a bunch of things we can do. They will prioritize just clearing big areas so they can find more skills. Right now we're kind of still slow and also restricted to certain parts of the map. So as we get more skills, we will get faster. And it's for now they kind of have to follow each other if they don't want to go through woods, which they can't because it would require some more keystones. Maybe as a bit of an explanation of the tracker that you can see in the bottom right or left corner, depending on which player. It shows all the skills that are in the game. These are like the circular things. And in the top right corner of the tracker, we also get an overview over all the other resources. So, namely, there are Spirit Light at the top, Keystones and Qualic Ore in the next row, and hearts are on the bottom. The hearts are, well, basically the rooms in horror in the first game. They are things you have to complete to be able to get to the final escape. And yeah, there's still an incentive for that. So I don't know how we are with that. But if we get the $100 for that, we will have to see the final escape. And with that, also all the hearts. So get to it.
Can I drop in about that for just a second?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because we actually had 2 donations lined up here. One being a $25 donation by Ma saying, "Thray, fix my stuff." But Ma also donated after that $50 for "Give me that burb." And with that, the donation incentive has been met.
Yeah, Mave is a speedrunner of this game and also a very, very good randomizer runner, bingo runner. So thank you, Mava, for the donations. We will now see the bird. I'm sure Zuri will be happy to complete the hearts. He is known to be playing a lot with the no hearts header, which modifies the game even further and just removes the necessity to do all the hearts. But with that, yeah, we will have to see when they decide to go for it. As mentioned, it is the final dungeon of the game, so not too soon going to happen. Yeah, with that being said, they are kind of still in the area of clearing things. Apple found her double jump as well, so she can now do all of these things. And yeah, no disadvantage to her for now. Oh, actually, I kind of missed. Zuri apparently found Burrow, which... Or he will find Burrow. The trackers are sometimes a bit ahead. But I don't think it will be the case this time around. And we also have tree hints, actually. And we now know that Flap, which is required to clear out the board, is in Wellspring. Another thing that I'm really sure that our runners will be happy about, because Wellspring is notorious for being extremely slow, extremely painful in every single pickup. So having to potentially full clear it to find this one skill, yeah, could be kind of annoying. And in the shop we also saw Hammer. I'm pretty sure that at least one of them will get that. There might even be a goal related to it. But we will see how that goes. It was relatively costly, 600 Spirit Light. You saw that so far our Spirit Light has ranged from about 30 to maybe 70. So getting those 600 Spirit Light can take a while. And we will have to wait and see. Yeah. So far, I don't think either of them has completed a different goal, because we don't see more of the board and it also doesn't show up. So, yeah, there are a bunch of goals that can be done without seeing them. Actually, all of them can be done without seeing them. The game provides auto-tracking for the bingo goals, so we don't have to worry about that. But we will have to wait and see what the first goal they complete is. They can do a variety of different options, and getting to the Windswept Wastes trail is definitely in the cards as soon as we get enough keystones to do so. Zri currently sitting at 3. We need a total of 6 to get to Windswept Wastes, so not quite there yet. But I would currently say that Zri is in the lead, and from experience, the two of them have played, and usually they are pretty back to back, so this should be a very exciting one. Water Dash in the shop. Of course, also another skill that could be interesting for golds. There are a few goals in Luma Pools, which is the area of the game where we are supposed to have that skill. And yeah, those can definitely become important. And you can see Zri kind of avoiding Wellspring as much as he can. It is very slow. You don't want to go there, especially without having the skill that's kind of that you're supposed to get in Wellspring, and that makes everything easier, so he's just checking everything else before. And it seems like Apple is doing the same. Building these houses. It's a quest. It can be a pickup. And I don't know where Zri found that burrow, but it definitely wasn't in Logic. Apple didn't find it. And there was a bunch of Spirit Light on that burrow locked pickup. And the Spirit Light works similar to the first game, where the later in Logic, the higher the Spirit Lights become. So you can kind of estimate how late you were supposed to find it. But yeah, so far we're getting through these areas. And double jump, just such a nice convenience skill. We can use it everywhere in the air, gives us a second jump, of course, and in the combination with some other skills, for example hammer, it becomes even more powerful. But understandably, Zri prioritized Water Dash, as it, well, gives us this boost underwater to be able to go around quicker. And also going for this pickup here. One thing interesting to note for sentry jumps is that there are basically two variants to it. One is the grounded one, and one is when you're in the air. Because basically they work by animation cancelling, and the animation is slightly different depending on whether you're on the ground or not. And so the timing is different. For grounded ones, the timing is pretty much the same button press. So you just press them on the same button, you can even set up a bind, and then you get the sentry jump, and even the full height sentry jump. If you miss the timing a bit, the sentry jump gets just lower. But mid-air sentry jumps require, I think, 3 frames apart between the presses of sentry and jump. And those are extremely much harder to hit. So seeing Zri trying to pull some of them off is really nice. And I hope we get to see some more. And yeah, we don't see this combat arena just yet, just sword and sentry is a bit annoying, especially with the HP and the energy counts they currently have. It could potentially be a goal, but since they don't see it, definitely a respectable choice to ignore it for now and potentially come back later. With that, Zri still trying to avoid the main parts of this area. Wellspring now is heading towards some of those, and I'm actually curious about these Gorlek ore amounts. Because the way that Gorlek ore works, because you're kind of not linear in how you spend them, but you have options. The randomizer makes sure that you have all the Gorlek ore for all the other options before it puts something into Logic. So you actually require more than 4 to afford the first houses in Logic. And now Apple already rebuilt the first houses, so we know that nothing important is there. But even later on there could be something, and there's of course also a bingo card for rebuilding everything, which would require a total of 29 Gorlek ore, so Zri just hitting the halfway mark pretty much. But it's still interesting to see, because it kind of suggests that Siegen put something on the rebuilding pickups. So we will have to wait and see when someone decides to maybe rebuild something else, something outside of the houses. So now we are not quite yet seeing the entry here, but a nice mid-air sentry jump. And now we're in the main part of Wellspring. So to elaborate why Wellspring is the annoying part of the game, it has 3 separate floors. Each of them have different puzzles that you need to complete. And they are linear, so you can't go to the 3rd floor if you haven't completed floor 1 and 2. However, to mitigate that to a degree, Mave, our dear donator, I think, was the one to introduce Better Wellspring, which is a header, so an additional setting for the randomizer where you don't have to complete all the floors to get access to the third floor. And the 3rd floor is especially interesting because it has the teleporter to the area, as well as access to the escape, which more often than not is a bingo card. So very important to note here. But this is just such a nice quality of life thing. Also, maybe to explain the timer difference. This game, thanks to Zuri's contributions, has a very good load timer detection. So the time you see visible and as big is actually the loadless time, because this game, as beautiful as it is, has horrible load times. And so we decided it's only fair if we use the load remove time. And so the randomizer showcases this. And in the tiny script below, you can see the actual time. But Zuri, without further ado, has done his first goal. He has gotten pickups from Gorlick Ore. So this references the vanilla pickup locations. So you can see he has 18 Gorlick Ore from the randomized pickups, but he has only gotten 8 pickups that in the vanilla game are Gorlick Ore, and that is what counts here. So, whereas the goal next to it, collect keystones, actually references the pickup you get from the randomizer. So, Zuri is currently on 6, so he will need 3 more to get to that, because I don't think he ever opened the door, which of course would mean he gets those keystones also added to his counter. And maybe explaining the trick that Zuri has been doing all throughout Wellspring. This is called pause floating, because we can pause the game and that immediately resets our falling speed back to 0. So we can go to the left a bit more. And Apple has completed the first goal herself now. You can also see the UI showing that off, pulling a lever. So Wellspring has a lot of them, and I'm sure Zuri will do that in a second as well. I don't know what his counter is, but that is... Wellspring is basically the perfect area for that. Everything has a lever, the puzzles are based around those, you have a lot of access from those. So we will hopefully not have a disparity for too long, but Apple doesn't quite seem to be at the 8 Gorlick Ore mark yet. So we'll have to wait and see where the 8th one is for her. And we're getting even more Gorlick Ore here. We're getting so much Gorlick Ore, I'm actually worried. And Zuri also now pulling all the levers. But yeah, 21 Gorlick Ore. Reminder, the maximum that you need to complete everything is 29. And the fact that Siegen is just throwing them at us kind of suggests it, because there's a limited amount of pickups they have available to them. So it seems like Rando really decided, okay, the next thing is on there. I will do it no matter what. Grapple being in reach, probably not too important. We don't have any reach objectives on the board just yet, because the reach trial door, fun fact, is not actually in the main part of reach. We can access that from the glades. But yeah, maybe to kind of talk about the goals a bit more. We have a lot of quests here. Both quests, Silent Teeth and Into the Burrows. Into the Burrows is one of these quests that actually requires Bash, but we have that. And Zri also finding Dash, that's actually massive. Because Dash, well, is just a big speed boost. Hopefully Apple will find that as well. And a first launch fragment. Wow, so much to talk about. So basically, this game decided Bash, the skill, isn't powerful enough. So we're just gonna add a bash, but you can use it everywhere. So you don't need an enemy or projectile to use it anymore. And instead you can just launch from wherever you want to wherever you want, pretty much. And since it is such a powerful skill, it would kind of destroy most of the randomizer experience if you got it extremely early. So the randomizer developers decided it would be a good thing to have the option to split launch up into 5 different parts. The clue is, you only need 3 of them to have the actual launch skill, but they can be wherever on the map, and it's very unlikely that the randomizer actually expects you to find all 5 really early. So finding one of them means we are only 2 away from a very, very powerful thing. And yeah, Zri also going over this cutscene trigger here to access this pickup. You can see that's not intended. Ancestral Light is interesting for later though, because we will need to do a lot of fighting, and Ancestral Light will amplify all our damage, I think by 25%. Not too sure about the amount, but it is one of the circles on the right of the tracker. And yeah, it just gives us a bit of a damage boost. Or boost in damage, rather. So we can make use of that. And Apple finding Triple Jump as a shard. Shards are basically some equipable bonus pickups similar to other games. And Triple Jump is a very powerful one, and I do believe the only one that is somewhat required in Logic. So, you can be required to use it to get even more jumps. And Zri completed 2 more cards that aren't currently visible to us, but the randomizer tells him anyway. And he's wiggling his mouse because as soon as the mouse cursor disappears, you can skip the cutscene. This is also a functionality of the randomizer being able to skip this cutscene alongside some other ones. So yeah, just for ease of access, and no one wants to watch the 2-minute cutscenes everywhere. And there was Burrow. Burrow is on Luca's shop. So that is fairly accessible, and I'm sure Apple will get it soon as well. And Blaze. Blind Forest has Warmth Returned, which you get right at the end of the game, so it does absolutely nothing. Will of the Wisps has Blaze. It is supposed to be a weapon. It is supposed to damage more than one enemy, but it's actually kind of garbage. Like, you don't ever want to use it. So, it's a bit of a meme pickup. With that being said, we're still kind of stuck in the same area. Actually, we might be able to get into the original spawn area on the side of 3. But in general, clearing areas that you have access to gain skills is actually pretty good. So yeah, we will see how they operate here. And yeah. This is funny routing from Zri. This is basically the reverse of how you're supposed to do this area. So it's kind of interesting to see them go like this. And now also finally doing the thing that makes this annoying if you do it the right way around, which is turning the wheel. But there is a pickup there, and we're kind of getting desperate for progression, so I'm not even mad. And it also skips a fighting room that we would need to do. Because this game, unlike the first game, has some combat. I'm not gonna talk about the quality of the combat because I'm not a fan of combat. I usually play with a header that removes all the combat. But yeah, we will see some here on the board because actually maybe we don't. I don't see any actual combat. Actually, Qualock's Wisdom, I think, requires combat. And we get to see some more of the board, because Zuri has completed... Or rather, our runners see more of the board, because Zuri has completed a goal that was visible to him, and that unlocked some more. So now we know that we have to activate teleporters, which he already did. We have to activate the updraft, which is what he just did. And we have to kill tentacles, which are not the... Tentacles can be a bit confusing because they are not the shooting enemies that are purple, but they are the underwater creatures, or mostly underwater creatures that are green and kind of shoot at us. It's confusing. I got very confused in the beginning. Just know that there's different types of enemies, and tentacles are generally very thin. And it's really kind of forgetting that Ultra Flap is not yet in the game, or just simply equipping the wrong thing. Also finds triple jump now, so this is out of the skill parity here. Now we have that again. And yeah, it's interesting to see. He is deciding to make use of his Gorlek ore. Probably hoping to find something here. Just waiting for the darkness to creep in. So basically, maybe as an explanation why he can do that. This randomizer completely works online when you play multiplayer, so it also saves which pickups you already got. So you can just kind of, yeah. Well, not save scum, but basically save scum, or position scum, rather. And he collected keystones. So now we see even more of the board. Break floors or ceiling. Of course, inspired from the first game as well. This game has a lot of floors and ceilings that we can destroy. And hopefully, yeah, just complete it. And Apple found Dash, so the skill parity has been completed here now. Outside of... oh, actually, there's still Flap, which Apple is missing. But you can kind of see that she's trailing behind Suri here. Yeah, do we have any news on the hosting side?
Well, hello, chat. How is everyone doing today? It's Sinith, and I am here to help host with Shadow. Let me just double check to see if there's anything brand new for incentives or anything like that. We do have a couple of good bid wars coming up. You can get a fourth row added to the Super Mario Sunshine bingo that's going to be happening here soon. We need $70 to make that happen. Illusion of Gaia randomizer upgrade to a Blackout bingo for $100. And then after that, you can start donating towards my randomizer, where you can choose between Battleline, Doodle Girl, Madeline, Omari, and you can also donate towards adding death wishes into the randomizer. And if you know anything about Hat in Time, you want to make that happen. Back to you.
Thank you for a bit of an update. Definitely keep those donations coming. And yeah, we have... Yeah, just kind of both of them looking for more progressions. Rui is now, with the keystones he's collected, going into woods and starting his journey through here. This is also another very slow area if you don't have the correct skills. But having flap, having sentry jumps, we can pretty much just do anything we want here. And we're also flapping more leaf piles and apparently doing cards with that. So you can see on the board where they are. But since we need to do all of them, it's not important. Also, side note, the runners do not see where the cards are located that they have completed. They can, if you play, for example, 3 lines, you can complete lines without seeing them, and the game still counts them as completed. But it is very funny when that happens, when you don't actually see which line you completed. But yes, Apple on the right kind of demonstrating why hammer and double jump in combination are so powerful. It's another animation canceling thing, where if we cancel the hammer animation with a double jump, or the other way around, either way we're getting a lot of height. And that is a lot of fun, and Zri is also making use of that. Especially with triple jump, we have the opportunity to do it twice in a row. So we get even more height. And yeah. More things are being collected. Still no any new major skills on either side, but with Burrow, with Water Dash, which are like some of the hard locking skills, it's looking pretty good. The only really hard locking skill we kind of want right now is Glide, because it unlocks an entire area. And while we do not have any goal that actually completely requires us to go into Moldwood, we have actually open these keystone doors means all of them, so we need to go into Moldwood. As you can see, there's the Moldwood entry door that we need to open, so we need to find Glide or the Moldwood depths to be able to get into that area. And it always is kind of nice, especially for some of the Willow Hearts, to have Glide, so we'll have to see where that ends up hiding. Maybe for a bit of explanation on how the tree hints work in that regard, because there isn't any Glide tree. You get Glide right about where Zri is here, because if you play the base game, I'm not gonna spoiler anything, but if you play the base game, this is where you end up getting it. But since it's randomized, yeah, it's not there. And as you can see, there is no tree there. So you and no pickup either. So there isn't a pickup that could give us information on where Glide is. But since there are 2 trees for Ancestral Light, these are modified to give us the hints for Flap and Glide, which we would both get at the location Zri just was. So that is very comfy to just know that we can go there and find that hint instead of, well, having to search the entire map, because this map has, I don't want to lie, but 380 pickups or something that you can collect, so you really, really don't want to go through all of these. But yeah, we're getting towards the Wastes trial, so almost there with one of the initial goals. Then we have both of them completed, as we already activated one of the app drafts on Zri's side at least. Apple doesn't have Flap yet and doesn't think it's a priority to get. And yeah, with that being said, we are also getting Flash. And more quests here. This is another quest item that Zri just picked up. It's the quest item for a diamond in the rough. So we have half of that quest completed, so half of C4 on the board side done. Because we only need to do one of the quests. And there's another launch fragment on Apple's screen here. It's not one that Zri has picked up, but it is still interesting to see. You can also see in the bottom, in the launch, where the launch symbol is, how many launch fragments everyone has. And we see more goals, and we can see 2 of the goals we couldn't previously that Zuri has completed, which is scatter leaf piles and get burrow tree. So one of them he just did, because it's underneath him, the burrow tree. But the other one he's done before, and it also popped up as a bit of a message. And we also have to break 6 willow hearts. There's only 8 in the game, but we need to break all of them anyway because of the incentive to fight Shriek. Ooh, and Apple found a second launch fragment, so only 1 to go for her. As we do see her getting to another area that's prone to just get you bingo goals. There's so many bingo goals in a very small area here. This, for example, is Ring the Bells, so we can keep an eye on whether she gets an extra card for this. There's 2 versions of this card, which is forwards and backwards, because if you played the game, you know. If you didn't, you should play the game. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. This time around, it is a card. We can tell from the fact that it popped up exactly as she finished it. There's no other goal that would be related to. Wow, Zuri! What? I've never seen that damage boost. That's so interesting and cool. And we're also getting the information on Glide. Glide is in reach. So this is one of the ancestral light trees. So instead of giving us a hint for a really useless skill that doesn't unlock any pickups for us, but just makes our attacks stronger, we're getting the Glide hint here, and it is in reach. So since we have Flap, we can fully get into reach. We have Sentry to melt some of the ice walls, and we have Melting Blaze, which is a bonus upgrade. And it makes Blaze actually useful, because it also allows Blaze to actually melt ice. And if you're surprised that Blaze doesn't actually melt ice in the base game, you're not alone. We're all wondering why that is the case. Either way, the Rendo developers did a great job just figuring out what does what in the game and just abusing it to no end. So it's really nice to see what's all possible. And yeah, on the topic of powerful, we also got Fracture, which is a shard that basically makes it so that Grenade, or Light Burst as it is called in the game, gets kind of split into 3, and basically it triples the damage it deals. So that is really powerful, especially because the randomizer has another augment that makes it split into 9 then, basically, if you have both equipped. And yeah, you can imagine. If we fight Shriek with Grenade, the fight really isn't fair. It is really unbalanced then. With that being said, we do see 2 new areas. We see Zuri in Luma Pools with the water dash. That's kind of the intended thing to get here. And Apple in Midnight Burrows. Just trying to complete quests here because, as I mentioned, this is very prone to just having goals everywhere. Yeah, and Zuri is entering an area that he is a developer for the loadless, for the community patch that was just approved for SRC for the base game speedruns. Yeah, basically there's a wall that sometimes spawns even when it shouldn't, and trying to figure out why that's the case was a job. So yeah, Zuri just amazing knowledge on this game. Absolutely can break everything, and yeah. He has also now, if he can get this pickup, yes, gotten 11 cards because he found 12 underwater pickups, and so he has completed a line, but we're not done yet. We're playing Blackout, so we have plenty of cards left to go. 14 on the side of Zuri and 19 on the side of Apple, so he is ahead. He also chose a very different path to Apple, who is currently full clearing, or at least trying to full clear this area, which is kind of the starting area. Like, you get to this area within 20-30 minutes of your casual playthrough. So since we have a bunch of more skills than you're supposed to, and there's the grenade I just was talking about. Yeah, this area is a breeze. So Apple definitely with fracture and grenades. In terms of defeating Shriek by the end, yeah, that's very comfortable to do with these two skills. So, and as well as just every other combat we could do. Yeah, with that being said, Apple now also completed one of the quests in C4. So just under the middle goal. So we have a score of 11 to 7. She is catching up slowly but steadily. Zri taking a bit of a death before heading up to this spirit trial, gaining him his 12th card. And we can see that we need to drop the rock next to Bauer. Bauer is surprisingly enough in Bauer's reach. Who would have thought that? And we have access to that area because, well, Bauer is very, very sleepy. And if you've watched Bingothon, I think 2 years ago, you know that you need to blow the bear to get into the area. So, yeah, we are able to do that now with our blowing tool, which is the flap. But Zri also is now going into the same area that Apple is currently in via this connection, so he's made his way into Marsh. Not going for that health cell pickup, but rather just beelining. I'm not sure where. Oh, to ring the bells backwards, of course, which is the thing Apple did. And also finding launch here. Finds that fragment that Apple did, but had 2 more in his inventory, so now he has launch, and yeah. If you thought Bash was powerful, launch is even more powerful. So Zri now with 13 cards. It's looking pretty good for him. 6 cards in the lead. Everything else on the board is kind of, yeah, spread out. We have one more quest here that we can do that is on the board and needs to be fulfilled where Zri is. So we will have to see if he decides to do it. He has the keystones for it. The quest is called Into the Burrows. It's in the top row. And it requires getting a tablet that is behind a 4 keystone door. And it's just a singular pickup. So usually when you play the randomizer normally, you really have to think thrice about getting this pickup because 4 keystones are so valuable. There's so many other keystone doors that you can choose to go to. And 95 cash usually is just not worth it. Especially because, well, this is unfortunately not actual cash. If it was actual cash, maybe more people would consider going for that pickup. And on that note, maybe worth explaining, Apple on the right doesn't seem to have randomized currency names active, which is a setting you can activate to, well, have your currency names randomized. So instead of Spirit Light, it then says, for example, cash, for example, bananas, for example... Oh, there's plenty. We have a whole list that the community came up with. But Apple made her way into Windswept Wastes as well, has activated the trial, so can continue through here. I don't think there's anything else she can actually achieve right now here. So we will have to wait and see where she decides to go. Probably going to pick up the teleporter for easier access if she ever needs to get back here. And also just picking up more stuff. So we're kind of approaching the, well, not quite late game, we're not quite there, but we're on our way, especially on the side of 3. He has pretty much all the skills you could ask for outside of Glide. but he has the glide hint as well now, so he knows where to search for it. And he activated this combat shrine. It might be in one of the 4 cards we can't see right now. But Zuri has also completed math on stream. He has completed 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 visible goals. So that means 2 of the goals he can't see, he already completed. So there's only 2 goals he can't see and doesn't know where they are. Doesn't know if he, well, what he needs to do for them to complete them. Oh, Apple broke some floors and ceilings and is now teleporting back.
So, too, did you know that the tracker interface, all those icons, were pulled by myself?
Oh, yeah, wow, okay.
I was in the Ori Will of the Wisp community right before the game came out, and we started working on the randomizer, and I helped make the tracker is what it is today, and I'm in the credits for it.
Thank you. That's really cool. I did not know that. I only joined the community. Well, I joined it around the Will of the Wisps release, but I wasn't active until a year later. So, thank you. Yeah, I have seen you around a bit, so really nice to know. Yeah, there have been some modifications to some of the icons, especially for the shop icons, to kind of make them feel like they could be in the game even though they aren't in the vanilla game. And Zri is now trying to drain Quallock's Hollow without bow. I can't even begin to stress how hard this is. This requires a very specific setup, and we will see in a second, because this area is supposed to give you an introduction to bow. So all of these eyes you can see, you can activate them with bow, and you kind of need them to get a stone to the bottom to activate this plate here. Wow, and Zuri just does it. Okay. So he just does it. Can now complete this card by pulling the lever, and yeah. But I can't stress, this is extremely hard. You need to know exactly what you're doing and have a setup for it. Otherwise, you're gonna be stuck there for a long time. So yeah, he's breaking his last ceiling or floor here. And with that, well, he knows that or I don't know if he's keeping track, but with some mathing, we know that the last goal that he can't see, he already completed. So he has full information on what he needs to do now. And so far, that seems fairly straightforward. He's buying some keystones to open the Reach trial door. And you can see there's still 2 more doors he needs to open. Both of them require 2 keystones each, so it's not a 4 keystone door. But regardless of that, he still needs more keystones. So we will have to wait and see where he decides to either look for these or just get money. Because you just saw him buy keystones, and that is possible because there is a black market option, which basically transforms one of the shop slots into a into a keystone that progressively gets more expensive. So it starts at like 800 and goes all the way up to 1,000. And the more you buy, the more expensive it gets. So yeah, he's getting all these pickups that he knows are late in logic. And maybe he's hoping for Glide here, but Glide can't be here because you can see that there is a bit of a wind current behind it. But he finds Moldwood Depths. Okay, he doesn't even need to find Glide now. Okay, that's actually massive because he doesn't need to go into Bower's Reach except to drop the rock next to Bower. So he can just do things much, much quicker. And also Moldwood Depths TP just gives such quicker access to, well, everything he needs to do there. And yeah, Qualox Hollow TP after draining Qualox Hollow. Very nice to see. He got that right at the beginning, so no worries here. So for Zri, pretty much it's just about finishing all the goals now. He's heading to them straight away. Apple is also trying to do the same thing, but definitely behind. We'll have to try and catch up, but realistically I don't see it happening unless Zri just doesn't end up finding any keystones. But he only needs one more. And there's Bowers Reach TP. If he ever decided to go into Bowers Reach for fun, he can do so now. Still getting all these pickups, of course, because he still needs to buy that extra keystone. And potentially hopes to get something else. Yeah, I think the most time-consuming thing right now on the board are the 6 Willow Hearts. We need to do those anyway to get to the final fight, to be able to fight Shriek. But it is definitely time-consuming. So the most time-consuming thing after that is actually kill enemies with bow. Because we currently do not know where bow is. So first you need to get to the bow tree to get the hint. And then you need to find bow. And then you need to kill the enemies with bow. He can also opt to take a different hint. I don't know if they are active or not. I don't think they are. Depending on your... Yeah, they're not active. Oh, he's rebuilding glades. So you can see in his tracker, actually in both their trackers, they both have rebuilt glades. That we have 29 Golek ore, which is why the number is green, because we have collected all of it that could ever be needed. And there's Bo. I must have missed it on the side of Apple. So she has the advantage here. And also activating this Spirit Trial, as well as opening that keystone. And yeah. Zri is heading towards Bowers Reach to drop the rock. And Apple is seemingly heading into a similar direction. Oh, Zri is actually killing tentacles. But yes, Apple will be the first to go into Bowers Reach and drop the rock. Actually, it's going to be a tight race. No, never mind. Zri is still looking for tentacles to kill. So yeah, Apple successfully blowing the bear, aka make him sneeze with Flap. And now this is the rock that's on the board, and we do not drop the rock onto Bower. I just want to clarify that. We are not meanies to the bear. We are just meanies to the ledge next to the bear. So we are successfully in here. I'm not sure what Apple is still looking for. Oh yeah, glide, of course. So we will have to wait and see where that glide is. Because she didn't end up finding Moldwood Depths to pee, I believe, so her only way into Moldwood Depths right now is via glide. Because for whatever reason, the game blocks you from entering Moldwood. Unless you specifically have glide. In the base game, that would be achieved by reuniting with our friend Who, which Who is not present in the randomizer. Don't worry. But for now, we're not worried for any of that. We're just collecting more pickups on the side of Apple. You can kind of see the it's really hard to keep track of what skill you currently have equipped. You have the small UI on the bottom, but sometimes when you just look at the pickups you need to get, you kind of forget what you have equipped, and then you throw something else, and then you realize and open the menu. It's a whole thing. Zuri, on the other side, is doing the Wastes trial. Really easy to do with the skills he has. Currently looking around what other trial to do, maybe, and what else to do. He's heading into Moldwood Depths right now with Flash, which is the skill you're supposed to find here. You're kind of keeping the darkness at bay, which would normally kill you instantly. And with that, yeah, he's moving towards the towards the trial, kind of misdirecting his bash there. Maybe even accidentally launching. Apple is on her side, going for the get seeds, plant seeds achievement, which, yeah, it's basically you have to pick up those seeds. We have a quality of life feature that makes it so they are auto-planted, and there's Grapple. And now she picks up that seed. It's not her last seed. She still has more to collect. I did not keep track, but it does seem like she doesn't have the Luma one, and I would be surprised if she had the Ruins one. Not Ruins. Wastes one. So basically we find different seeds throughout the game that make the glades prettier place. And yeah, both of them really in the end game now. Really just trying to complete everything they have left to do. And Zri with only 2 to go. And both of them are Willow hearts. He's just going to beeline to Willow. So doing all the Willow hearts will do 2 things. It will complete the bingo card. And it will enable us to go towards Shriek. So he can complete the incentive that you all so generously donated toward. So yeah, we will see some combat here on Zuri's side. He does not have the grenade, so he's doing launch sword combat. Basically launch deals damage, sword deals damage, and we can alternate between the two to kind of get rid of their animation. So we can repeatedly use these. And that's what he's trying to do here. It is very hard, so doing it optimally won't be possible everywhere. And he's also just using Spear, because it doesn't cost anything. Normally in the base game it would cost 2 energy, but I think it only costs 1 for him right now. And it deals a lot of damage, as you could see. And Apple is trying to get more pickups here, hoping for the glide. Still doesn't have it. We haven't seen it on Zuri's side because he didn't need it. So we will have to wait and see. Luckily for her, it can't be on like super late pickups. I'm not sure why she's not picking up the burrow lock to pick up the snowball here. Luckily for Apple, it can't be on the escape. The escape is slow to get to it, but it also requires glide. So glide can't be there, and in fact, it's here. It's in this little nook. So now she can go into this area, Moldwood Depths, as well, and complete the goals that are there, which are namely the seed that she can collect, as well as the door that you need to open, as well as if she wants to, she can also do the trial. It's just a very nice area to be in right now. And Zuri completed 2 goals, not 2 goals, 2 hearts in the meantime. The boulder escape heart and the lower left heart. And he's doing some nice shenanigans. We call this Quidditch because you have to redirect the shot. I don't actually know why it's called Quidditch, but it basically enables us to skip the entire intentional puzzle, which is also about redirecting projectiles, but only with bash and not with bash and launch. We can kind of follow the projectile. And yeah, just doing all the hearts here. will get his 6th heart fairly soon. As Apple is still clearing out areas. She still has some more goals to complete. And is teleporting out of Moldwood now. Will do other things first. It looks like she's going for that seat here, as well as activating the Luma trial, maybe. Since Water Dash was on the shop, she has a fast way around here. And 3, in the meantime, finished his 5th heart, only 1 heart away from the Blackout. So we'll finish first in that regard. However, Shriek can still be a meanie, but I don't think it will be too many problems, since normally when you play normal randomizer, you have to fight Shriek to finish it. And both players here are excellent random players, and of course also excellent bingo players, as we can see. So I don't imagine it will be too much trouble for 3 here, but we'll have to wait and see. Currently trying to use Sentry. Sentry isn't really an effective way to kill this boss, so unfortunately takes a death. Doesn't have grenade to just eliminate the boss. I can guarantee you that as soon as Apple gets to that boss, it will just melt. Grenade is a very effective method to kill pretty much anything in the game. And with that being said, that will be the 6th heart. So GG on the Blackout, but we're not done yet. We still need to complete 2 more hearts and get to the final boss of the game. Apple, in the meantime, is starting another trial here. With dash, with grapple, nothing to worry about. This trial kind of requires grapple or a bunch of bonus skills. How did she get out of bounds? This game is weird. This game is notorious for just getting you out of bounds unexpectedly. I'm sure if you were around Zenith in the early days, you've seen a bunch of out of bounds on your end as well.
Yeah, we definitely tried to break the game when we were alpha testing it.
Yeah, understandable. But yeah, with that being said, Apple now, without going out of bounds, completed this trial. I don't know how that happened. Sometimes you just dash and the game decides, yeah, you're out of bounds now. And of course, to reiterate, we're playing with the inbounds rule set, so you are not allowed to go out of bounds, but if you reload, if you take a death, if you don't actually gain an advantage from being out of bounds, it's fine. Because, as you can see, it just happens sometimes, and there's nothing you can do about it. Apple, meanwhile, heading towards her Qualox Hollow Drain, so is going to complete that goal in a second. But unfortunately, it will not be fast enough. You can also see that the timer stopped with the bingo complete, but we're of course still finishing this run. Oh! It's been 5 years of Bingothon! Nice! Okay, we will fight 5 years of Bingothon apparently. Yeah, Zri has been kind of teasing that he's planning something, and this is the something. Please enjoy. And happy 5 years of Bingothon. Okay. This is amazing content. So basically how that works is we figured out how to manipulate the singular elements in the shader, and so we can manipulate him to look however we like. Last year it was Shrek, this year it's Bingothon. Upgrades, anyone? And yeah, he's trying to go through this escape. It is the final escape of the game. It's not quite as hard as maybe the escape in the first game, especially if you have launch. But it still can be demanding. So now we're into phase 3 of the combat, and immediately taking a death. He doesn't have a whole lot of health, so he needs to be careful about that. As Apple is showing us how to do the puzzle as intended that is re-skipped with launch. And you can see it's super slow, but she doesn't have another option. Especially if she's not comfortable with the trick. And Zuri actually using Blaze. That's amazing. And you can see Blaze basically deals no damage. Yes, it does a bit of burn damage, but outside of that, really not that powerful. It sounds more powerful than it is. And he got an attack right as he got her to the last phase, so he had to wait that out. But yeah, we'll finish first in about, well, 30 seconds maybe. Just needs to hit Freak a bit more and avoid her here. Apple on her side is also... Whoa! And there it is. GG. 4-3 has finished. Apple doing her second spirit trial now. To get this goal done. And to complete the second spirit trial, we have activated enough already. And after that, we will have to see. She pretty much only has to kill more tentacles, and then also it's just Willow left for her. So she's pretty much right behind 3 here. And don't be confused about the timer. As explained, it stops as soon as you do all goals, and then it also has the load time removal. So, yeah. It might not look as close as it is. But yeah, Apple looking for those tentacles. I don't think you have to kill individual ones. But they basically need to deload and reload for them to count again. So you can't just kill one, die, kill it again. That does not work. And she's now equipping Reckless. Oh, maybe it was Zuri who found Fracture, because I don't see it in her chart menu. And yeah, I think one more tentacle will do the trick. And there it is, 23 cards, only Willow left. And she even has the teleporter, so she doesn't have to worry about the elevator fight, which is a nice time save. Yeah. You can also see on the side of Zuri, yeah, there's me, there's Sineth. We have all the contributors that helped out with the beta, or well, in general with developing the randomizer. They appear in the epilogue as well. So that's really nice to see. And everyone in there, just, you can see so many people enjoying the randomizer, and most of them, or a lot of them, are still active in the community. So yeah, Apple finished the bottom hearts, and she's testing out Charge Blaze. Oh, she didn't do the bottom yet, because Charge Blaze significantly speeds up this heart. And you will see in a second why. So basically, you don't have to go to the actual heart, but you can use Charge Blaze, which damages everything on screen. And even though you can't see the heart, it's on screen. So you can damage it and destroy it from below. And that's exactly what she did here, saving a bunch of time. And we will do a similar thing here, where we aren't at the heart, but we can still destroy it from afar with Sentry in this case. And we are also invincible during cutscenes and get reset to the position of the heart, which is the important part here, because otherwise Appletree would be dead right now. And yeah, Apple now 2 hearts down. We can do another blaze skip on the next heart instead of doing the puzzle. Oh, maybe she did that already. I did not pay attention. She has 3 hearts, so probably that's the case. So she can move to the next heart here, which is the burrow heart. We're very creative with names, and there aren't actually any names that the community decided on. But I think calling this the burrow heart is a safe call, because you need burrow, and it's a very focal point, and there's no other heart that requires to use burrow. So yeah, we're almost done here as well. Only 4 hearts to go. And only 2 of those are relevant for the Blackout. The other 2 are what the people paid for with the incentive. So yeah, this content is for you, all of you. And we will still stay underestimate, I'm pretty sure. So we're kind of slowly making up the time. Still better name than Glazer. Well, but Glazer is a nice name. Even better is Grenadezer, which in the first game, right above Glazer, is a grenade-locked pickup. So, yeah, yeah. We are very creative with naming in the Ori community. And we're almost through what I like to call the cheese wheel, which will be heart number 6. So that's the Blackout here. GG to Apple, but not done yet. We just still have to fulfill the incentive and actually get to the end of the game, actually complete the game. By the way, in theory, this game also has a long cutscene in the end, which just involves holding right. But no one wants to watch a 4-minute cutscene every time, so we got rid of it in the randomizer. As a side note, every speedrunner still watches that cutscene, because after Blind Forest, after the first part of the game, they were hesitant to rule out any time save in those last moments. Because if you remember, the grenade jump at the end of the first game saves like half the cutscene, and people were hoping for something to happen there as well. And that would of course be relevant to the speedrun. But of course, if you're looking for a speedrun that doesn't have to do the crawl at the end, we are all inviting you to play All Cell Fragments, which is a nice custom category where we decided all the rules and we said, no, this is dumb. We don't want to hold right for 4 minutes. So yeah. And I'm not sure if we have time. GG to finishing... No, this is not the last heart. There's still the upper heart left for Apple to do. I don't know if we will have time for an interview after the run is over, but I would have some questions. Just press D, yeah, but for 4 minutes, that's just annoying. Oh, and Apple taking a bit of a hit here. Of course, since this is the final area of the game, everything just deals amplified damage. Everything just is so dangerous and you have to be so careful, so... yeah, deaths here are more than understandable. And then you have to wait for these cycles to also be done. But now, just a few more hits on the heart. And that's the 8th heart. We are allowed to the Shriek fight now. So we will see some more of It's Been 5 Years of Bingothon. And I love that. So, yeah, very glad to be at the start of the marathon. I don't know if Apple actually has the DLL that, or the version of the randomizer that makes it. Yeah, she does not, so we will not fight Bingothon this time. But we saw it once, and I'm sure there will be a clip of it somewhere. If you want to watch it again. But yes, Apple also needs to be careful about her health here. As this is the final boss of the game, it's also the hardest boss. And now with the disappearing health bar, we know we've been through phase 1. So now we can go into the escape part and go through that. Yeah, maybe one of the Shrieks is actually Floha and one is Pika. Maybe they can decide who's who. And now we are in phase 3. We can see the reappearing health bar, which by the way does not mean we can't damage Shriek during the escape. We can. And you can actually kill her during the second phase. Which sometimes, if you have the right grenade upgrades, is definitely possible. I have seen Shrieks being killed in the escape part with like 1 grenade or 2 grenades. It is really amazing damage, but we see some sentry and sword combat. I don't think Apple has the upgrade that kind of gives us energy when we attack with sword or hammer, but that's okay. She's doing just fine without. And is about to finish here as well. Just needs to get Shriek down to about a fifth maybe of the health bar before going into the last phase. This is not the last phase. It might look like it, but unfortunately the health bar didn't disappear, which is kind of the giveaway for the phase changes. And with that, the health bar disappeared and reappeared, so we are in the final phase. Time for some more damage against her. We first need to survive for a bit. We are seeing some swoops. And you can skip again all of that by just killing her in the second phase, which is hard enough. There's only like small windows where you can attack her. So not surprised to not be seeing that from either of the player. And now we have the window again to attack. Oh, that was a misdirected launch. And, oh, doesn't quite get it in one swoop, so needs to survive some more. This time around it's only 2 swoops. Oh no! Launches into Shriek. Oh, that is so annoying. Yeah, launch can be very... If you're used to, for example, having sentry on Y to be able to do your sentry jumps quickly, and then you have launch suddenly on Y, it's very easy to misclick. So... not surprised it happened here. It is unfortunate because we need to go through the whole swooping again. But I'm sure Apple will do just fine the second time around, now that she's maybe a bit more accustomed. Still having a bit of trouble, but... GG. There we go. Both of them finished now. And both of them finished under estimate. Even with the bonus incentive.
Good game. I'm just gonna pull up the the schedule real quick just to see how much more time we have. I know we got Spyro coming up next. Let's see.
Yeah, while you're looking it up, can I give some shoutouts at least that I'm sure the runners would also appreciate?
Do it.
Yeah, shoutouts to the entirety of the Ori community. It's an awesome place. You can find everything you need to know at orirendo.com. I think the Discord link is on orirendo.com/Discord. The Will of the Wisps randomizer is at wotw.orirendo.com. So very easy to remember. We're a very welcoming community. We're having lots of fun. We currently have a recurring randomizer league for the first game, and we're also looking into possibilities to make the second one more engaging. And yeah, shoutouts to Zri for being a working force on the randomizer for ages now, doing so much work, so much incredible work. Shoutouts to all the other developers of both randomizers. And yeah, just overall amazing community. Come join us if you want to.
All right, we do not have time for an interview, so we're just going to keep moving along. Thank you so much for making this run happen, Appletree, Zri, and 2Kill. And like you just said, thank you to the Ori 2 community, the Will of the Wisp community, everyone that worked on this. But we do need to get going, so let's transfer over to the next scene.
disease. Team 17.
I think let's divide this into 3 sections. A lot of our research traditionally has not involved including everybody. So what we know about the makeup of disease comes from a very limited pool of people. And so we are making strides in trying to build partnerships with other groups and people and bringing them on and trying to find ways to intervene with screening or early detection in a way that is true to their beliefs and their systems. The other part that's really a little bit tricky is fundamental research that just tries to understand the broad base of everything is not getting as much funding as like research that is applicable at the clinic. I get it, right? Like there are people suffering today. We want to be able to make treatments for them now. But the fundamental research will solve the problems that we don't even know we have yet. During COVID, what allowed us to get out of that was fundamental research into how to design vaccines. That fundamental research can have an application that we don't know yet. On the patient side, I think I'll say that a lot of our treatments are still not precise enough. We're still giving standard of care therapy that will affect multiple cells in your body, not just the cancer cell. And that can lead to a lot of side effects and really reduce the quality of life for patients. How can we get better at really matching a patient with the right treatment so that their quality of life is better, so that they can go on and live a good life for the rest of their life?
Hello everyone. Well, thank you for still watching Bingothon. What a great run we saw earlier with, well, runs actually with the entire Ori block that we just seen. And so far, this marathon has been going so well. Wouldn't you think so?
Yeah, we've already raised $330 out of our first couple of hours being live and raising money for Fred Hutch. And I mean, if, donating to get rid of cancer is not a good enough reason to donate, man, do I got some things for you. I've got the Bingothon mug for $10. I've got the neutral version for $5. You can get a digital code for Super Mario RPG for $30. And y'all just saw the blurb there for the Team 17 game, Rhythm Pigeons, or what was it called?
Yeah. And I already see that our tech crew is doing an amazing job, and they've already settled the next runners. So, and since we're a little bit behind schedule, I guess we'll just throw it over, set up the final few things, and we'll be right back with you.